Hey guys, welcome back to another Coffee with the Authors, where we decode the craft and business of writing. And today we're going to talk about mostly business because there's a lot of misinformation, mostly on the internet, about publishing. So we're going to talk about 6 myths around publishing that are pretty prevalent these days.
I get myth number 1, which is that publishers are just going to take your work and change it without your permission. And that's just not true. The publisher wants you to be happy too. And it's a collaborative process. So they're going to give input. Your editor is going to give input. There's going to be a back and forth about all sorts of things, but they will not just take your manuscript and change it and publish it. That just doesn't happen.
Okay, myth number 2, there are only 5 big publishers, so why are you wasting your time? Why not just self-publish? Actually, there are more like 500. If you just, Penguin Random House all by themselves have over 300 imprints worldwide. And just in America, if you take the top 5 publishers, between them, they have almost 300 imprints. So that's 300 supposedly big 5 imprints. And then you have to look at all the mid-sized publishers who have a distribution deal with one of the big 5. And if you count those, you're looking at about 500 imprints just in the United States that are somewhere underneath the big 5 umbrella. So really you have tons of options, and even if somebody at one of the big umbrellas doesn't like your work, it doesn't mean you give up. They have another 50, 100, 200 imprints underneath that same umbrella.
I think of like Random House as being a giant house with a whole bunch of rooms inside the house. Those are the imprints. And each one of those rooms or imprints has its ability to publish its own works. So don't look at it as being like one of the big 5s is Penguin Random House. And so if you get turned down by them, you're going to be, you've eliminated one of the big 5. That doesn't work that way. Myth number 3 is that a pass from one is a pass from all. So that's not true. And editors and agents will sometimes even pass along your manuscript to someone they feel is better suited for it than they themselves are.
Myth number 4, it's all about having a hot topic or having something that agrees with an agent or an editor's manuscript wish list, MSWL. That's not really true. We talked about, a few videos ago, we talked about the fact that probably the 2 most important things having to do with your writing are having an emotional connection to your story and your character via your voice, and the actual quality of your craft. Those are much more important than the specific topic or subject matter or genre that you're writing in. I see something all the time online. Somebody will complain that an agent was looking for X in her MSWL, and I had sent in a novel about X, and she rejected it. They don't know what the hell they're looking for, And really, it's not that. It's this. When someone puts something in a manuscript wish list and says, I'm looking for a novel about X, Y, and Z, what they're really saying is, I'm looking for a well-written, emotionally compelling novel, broadly or roughly about X, Y, and Z. But the unstated parts are the most important parts. It's that well-written, emotionally connecting story. It has to be that. In other words, they're saying, I want a story that I'm going to love and that other people are going to love and that I can market and that I can sell. And it would be nice if it was about X, Y, and Z. Yeah. But it's not really the X, Y, Z thing. It's not the most important part. It's having a story that they love and other people will love. So don't fixate on, oh, I have the right subject matter and they didn't buy my story, those bastards.
Myth number 5 is that the work is over when you find an agent, or when you get an editor, or when your book is released. And no, sorry to break it to you, but the work is never over. But I have a way of looking at it that may help that. If you think of writing your manuscript as running a race. And so in my book, The Running Dream, the protagonist, Jessica, starts to view the finish line as being doubling as a starting line. So if you think of each stage in the writing or publishing process as being like a lap. So when you make it around that lap, you've completed 400 meters, but that's really just the starting line of the next phase of what you're going to do. So if you break it down that way, each time that you cross the finish line, you can celebrate that, but recognize that it's the starting line of the next phase of the publishing process. And that as long as your book is in print, you are going to be running around that track.
Okay, myth number 6 is that traditional publishers make you do all of the marketing these days anyways. So why even bother with them? So here's the truth. Major publishers still do a ton of marketing work on every single book that they release. They have a sales department, they have a publicity department, they have a marketing department, they have a school and library department, and all of these different departments do everything they can to get the word out about your book and to get your book out to retailers who can get it to readers. They also have distribution, which is it's part of the biggest thing they have, which can get your book into libraries and schools and bookstores all across the country, and if you have the right agent, perhaps all across the world. So yes, today you're expected to do a lot of marketing yourself, and they want you to, do your fair share and do some online marketing. And really, when it comes down to it, you're the only one who can do an in-store appearance, for example, or a school visit or whatever, because you're the author. So they expect you to do that, and doing that not only helps you sell your book, but it also lets your publisher know that you are rolling up your sleeves and you are working also, that you're part of the team. But believe me, they have a massive team working away behind the scenes. We don't always know what they're doing, but then when you find out what they've been doing on your book, you realize, holy cow, those guys have been working away trying to help me sell this book. When you think about it, your book is also their product. So why the heck wouldn't they want to sell as many copies of their product as possible?
Yeah, they don't let us in on all the things that they're doing, but they do this whole array of things for all the books that they publish. And that's way more muscle than you can do as an individual. So we hope you've gotten something useful out of this, that we've busted some myths that maybe you believed, and that we've given you some inspiration to keep on going. Remember, dream big, work hard, don't give up,
and keep writing.
See you next time.
Darn the torpedoes.
Darn the torpedo. Okay.